Happy Tuesday! I love you, just like your mama does, probably. So, um, let's see here. It says we're live. It's not showing up. There we go. Hopefully, it's working for you guys. It's tricky. It's tricky out here with our low tech stream. Eventually, we'll get in a huge studio and have like 5 people live hitting buttons, and then people can call in and be like, "Hey Brandon, I just had a question about Arena. Do you think that if I don't wash my eggs, they have a worse chance of getting pneumonia, or should I vaccinate them against diseases that can happen only to beasts?" And then I'll have to answer the caller. But you won't get to hear the answer to that for a couple of years once we get the whole studio set up. Like one of those ESPN rooms. That's what we're hoping for, right? And then we have the guy that just makes funny jokes who used to be a stand up comedian and maybe was even on Saturday Night Live. Maybe they're on Saturday Night Live right now. It's been a while since I watched it, so I don't know who's still around, but I'll at least set the bar at Will Ferrell. Deal? And that's what we're aiming for long term for the stream is a huge room of fun times. So there you go. That's the goal. The long term goal is a huge room of a bunch of people talking while I stream arenas. Hope you're down. Anyway, speaking of being down, or should I say up, because we are all up and excited for Taco Tuesday, streaming on Taco Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you had tacos, if that's your kind of thing. If not, hope you had something similar to a taco. Maybe a Choco Taco, at least that's got ice cream, right? Maybe a burrito. Hmm. I'm going off the rails too much here. So last night we did an early start so that we could do a tournament, and the tournament went way better than I thought it was. It actually ends up being 10 rounds, which is more than a 64-person tournament really needs. I'm not sure exactly what their setup is. Um, it's not a round robin. It wasn't a round robin because we had a bye first round, which when you have a 64 round tournament, even if it's 64 person tournament, even if it's a double elimination, which means you have to lose twice to be eliminated, you don't need to have that many rounds. So I'm not sure exactly where they're coming from, having it be 10 rounds, but we made it to the 8th round. We were 7-1, and then we lost again to get kicked out. But the guy who won and the guy who got second were my two losses. So I will hang my hat on that. We tied for 5th, but I will hang my hat on the fact that we lost to the best for that one. So I'm going to. Those tournaments are every Mondays, so I'm going to start streaming those every other Monday to try to get into the Challenger Series. Next one will very likely be after the nerfs, so you'll have to help me. You, right there, will have to help me figure out the new meta. Okay, we've been playing a lot of Quest Rogue. Didn't really practice it before yesterday's tournament, so that was crazy. But you're here for the arena. Let's do an arena run. We'll chat later. Let's do our picks. So the new and best class, even after the nerfs, is Paladin. And since there isn't a Paladin here, we don't have to fight the choice to take it, right? Last night after our tournament, we decided to try a Warlock just for fun, even though it was against a Paladin, and we did not get a Void Lord, we did not get a Siphon Soul, we did not get a Doom Guard. We did get a Legendary, it was Umbra, but then we didn't get any Death Rattle minions. So if you haven't seen that one, it's over there on VOD, and it's on YouTube also. But it's probably one that's worth skipping. But it's fun to see how bad a deck could be, right? I wasn't drafting the worst deck on purpose. The worst deck came to me, and there was nothing I could do about it. That said, I actually have been really, really enjoying Shaman in Arena. I think it's surprisingly good. So I'm going to go with Shaman tonight. If we get these exact same picks next time, I promise to take the Hunter because I have not played Hunter yet. But it's in a weird place in Arena because the best cards before this standard, before they rotated out, were the traps combined with the wolves. And they kind of neutered that. I think it'll pick back up as the standard evolves, right? We'll get two more sets. In those two sets, it's hard for me to believe we'll get at least one more set. I think two more, right? We'll get some secrets that will work with Hunter. Maybe even they'll start doing some off normal mana secrets. I don't know how they could do that. I was just thinking odd secrets would be kind of cool for Hunter, but then you would know exactly what secret it is, right? So maybe that doesn't really work. So starting off here, we actually get three really good choices. So I've always touted it. You're going to hear it every time. Is I want a silence. Now in Shaman, it's one of the few classes that has its own silence. It's a spell, Earthshock, so it interacts differently with some minions we want to silence from the battle cry effects. We can't target something with a membrane, but it's only one mana, so we're looking for that. We're also looking for a poison. There is no Shaman specific poison, but we would like to have a poison. And then right next to poison, it used to be below it, but I'm thinking right next to it, we'll see over the next week how it goes, or right above it, I'm thinking a weapon destruction. Those are all neutral, but Silver Sword just ruins your life, especially in arena. So I'm thinking it might have to be above poison, still behind a silence. Oh, we also have Hex, which is pretty much a silence as well, if not better in some cases. So we're looking for those. After that, we want some value. We want some insane value. All three of these are value. Yeah, what's up, Floating Fish? How did your mage run end earlier? I didn't get to finish that conversation. Sounded like you had a really good mage deck going in arena. We're doing Shaman tonight, and we're gonna start with the Blazing Invocation because it gives us a card outside of the game, but it's really just a one-for-one trade. It's not like Stonehill Defender or another Battlecry, even the Witch's Apprentice, which is a 0/1 taunt. That at least gets you something on the board, but this guy's only one mana, and it could interact with something like an Auctioneer or what's the Violet Arcanist that plays it. Yeah, no, I'd rather have fun. I'd rather have fun than win them all too. Sometimes you gotta go. Sometimes the arena does not allow you to get a good deck, right? So the best thing to do after that is to have fun with it. And once you're like 5 picks in, or once you've seen like your epic, or like last night with our Warlock deck, when our legendary choice had to be Umbra, and then we were given no death rattles the rest of it, sometimes the arena just forces you to have fun with it. So I totally get that. Marsh Drake is best in Rogue and Mage. It's going to be tough to get value out of that with Shaman. So I think we're going to go with the Cult Master since it's only our second pick and see if we can kind of get some aggro value out of it. Though we do want some taunts going on. We definitely want the Hex. We hope to see another Lightning Storm. And I love Unstable Evolution. It's part of the reason I play this game. Big reason I play this game is for those random things, the random acts of Hearthstone. That's what we're here. That's the name of the stream. That's why we climbed. Our first time to rank 3 was with Yogg Druid. We just love the random, but we've got to at least set ourselves up for some wins with a Hex. If there's another Unstable Evolution next to a Hex, I will take it for us. All right. It's always good to have a weapon, but they've really made, ever since the Spirit Claw, which was so good it had to be nerfed. Ever since then, they've really messed up Shaman weapons. There's the axe that freezes or shatters frozen minions, right? I honestly don't even remember the exact interaction of that weapon because it's so bad. So I think if the minion is frozen, it destroys it when you attack it with the axe. I think it's like Axe of Shattering or something like that. And then their legendary weapon discovers a spell and lets you cast it, which is really fun. We have gotten some benefits out of that, but there's a lot of duds in Shaman. So this is really the only reliable Shaman one besides Doomhammer, which in this meta can be pretty slow. That said, I really want an axe, but we're going to take a taunt and start to build an elemental chain and get a 3-drop. We got to build a curve here. Oh wow, okay, so a second hex. We actually had, our last Shaman run had 2 hexes, and we were really glad to have them because I think it got us to 6 wins. That said, getting this totem rolling can really impact the game hugely. Also, we just took an elemental. This is by far the most reliable 4-drop elemental. Just some solid board presence for a 4-drop. Normally clears something out, but we're gonna go for a little bit more aggro here. Let's take the Primal Fin Totem and see what we can do out of it here. Ooh, these are all good picks too. The Murmuring Elemental is obviously really fun to work into standard, right? When you can plan on doubling the trigger, it can get you some really good stuff, especially right before the meta shifted. Before Witchwood, there was an extremely fun Thrall evolution deck with this guy in it. But we're going to take the Servant to see if we can get some value, which means we need some more elementals. And this guy, even though he's an elemental, I don't think he's worth it. Even if we got like 3 reduction out of him and the chain, I don't think it's better than having this fatty on 5 to help us out. Let's see if we can get some value out of that guy. Alright, I said at the beginning we're looking for silence and poison. We've got a hex, so it's kind of maybe more important to get a poison, but this is a surprisingly bad poison in this meta because it's only good late game if you've got an advantage and can throw them out there. It's a situationally good poison. It's not as good as the stealth poison, and it's not as good as the with the wasp or the basilisk, which has the divine shield. I like both of those better. I might even like the 1/5 taunt better, simply because late game all you're hoping is some value out of this guy. He's really good in like Hunter, if you've got the Tundra Rhino to give him charge. He's got that beast tag there. Also, having the burn in Shaman, there's really not that much burn left out there. There's a lot in Mage right now. They've made it a little bit more random with like the Cinder Storm and that kind of stuff. So having a good solid Lava Burst really comes in handy. It cannot be undervalued here. There's been a lot of games where you're playing Shaman and you're thinking, man, 1 Lava Burst. You're so used to having Lava Burst because it's been around forever. But we're going to take the silence and hope we get another Lava Burst here. Or a Lightning Bolt. Don't know if we care as much about the Lightning Bolt. The extra 2 damage makes a big difference. This is much more early game trading. But so is the Feral Spirit. Let's get some taunts. And then we always want the class cards that are identifiers for that class. Earth Elemental is one of those. Volcano is definitely one of those. It can really help you catch up in the arena. So this to me is like a 9 out of 10 when you're drafting Shaman. You definitely want one of them. This card is really cool, and we've seen it have a tiny bit of impact on arena, usually with a class like Mage, who can control it better, or Priest, who can control the trades better and have this guy trigger. I think this guy would be better personally if he was a little less mana, especially with the nerfs coming out. I would rather see this guy as a 6-drop for a 5/5 even, right? So that you can get him out earlier, have him start clearing board earlier. Because for 1 more mana is the Drake, which does 2 damage to everything. You can set the board up a lot better than this guy. So I was saying I want another axe, but I think we might want another battle cry. See if we can get some elementals. There's a good amount of elementals with the battle cry tag, and we're missing out on our elemental chain here. We've passed up on a couple, so not saying woe me exactly, but the axe is really good for early trades. This guy's got surprising value too. He's got the Murloc tag, which is a little bit worthless in arena. And so compared to the pumpkin for priest, which is 1 less health but heals with the echo, he doesn't have that value that you want. I mean, maybe if he, I don't know, maybe if he had 1 more attack or health though, he would be too good, because then he's a pretty much normal 2-drop that you can get extreme value out later, right? Which is kind of what the Phantom Militia is. He's a normal 3-drop that you can, like, because the Phantom Militia is the exact same thing as the what was it called? It was like a tentacle, right? Like a little tentacle from one of the sets. I can't remember now. It's in Wild now, but it's the exact same thing as that, only with Echo. So maybe it'd be fair if this guy was 2-3, but then the Murloc tag kind of puts him over, especially if you're playing a Murloc deck, right? So we're going to take the Blazing Invocation, see if we are sad about passing up on too many of those other picks there, on too many weapons. So it's always good to have crushing hands to catch up, but we're going to take the Phoenix. That's the second Phoenix. We want those elemental tags. This is a no-brainer. Having one drops can be good, especially if we had a Flame Tongue Totem, but having a charge, it's our only thing over 5 mana right now. We definitely need that guy. So there's some really, really good cheese in Shaman. And when I say cheese, I mean some cards that don't always seem that good, but giving somebody Wind Fury in this arena is pretty insane, especially if we get like a fire elemental to ping and then just get control of the board. It's really surprising how much better this is in this arena than it's ever been in the past. And I mean ever. Like, because of the minion value, it's better than it was when we were just playing basic and classic, because back then you're putting it on a Yeti. Nowadays we're putting it on some pretty fat minions. Not that we have, because our deck so far is actually mostly classic and basic cards, but it's surprising what that can do with you. Same thing with Ancestral Spirit. Because of all the targets now for Death Rattle, this can really get you something. And Taunt. So the taunts have gone up in value, and so have the death rattles. This guy's an okay 3. He's normally better with a class that can help you progress to a board clear, right? So the Paladin, putting all the guys on the board so your turn 2 or 3 or 4 trades are a little better. The Mage, so that you can ping something right before or after this guy. We've had it miss for us quite a bit lately, so we're going to take one of the spells and see if we can get value out of it. And I think we're going to go with the Spirit this time, because our deck's a little slow. So this is the new insane buff, especially for Shamans. We lost the mark from Druids that lets them draw a card if it's on a beast. This is way better than that, especially in Arena. Bloodlust is tough to pass on, not necessarily because our deck synergizes with it, but because that's the kind of arena that we're in today. In this meta, Bloodlust is huge. Our deck stinks though for Bloodlust. Unfortunately, it's not gonna get us there. If we had a couple more 1 or 2 drops, we could hopefully draft into those, but it's not that kind of night so far. We're not getting the because we want little guys for a Cult Master too, and they're just not coming up. So let's take the Earth and Might. Ooh, that's a tough one. So the third hex that's offered, that's a really good drop rate. So the third hex that's offered, the second for Crushing Hand and Frost Rider. I think we go with the second hex, because these can target the same minions, and this Overload 3 can really get us in trouble. Maybe not with this deck because of how low our curve is, but I think because our curve is low, we're going to need Hex to deal with bigger stuff, because we don't have those big minions. We're going to go with a second Earth and Might here. We already have our Silence. We don't really want another Earthshock. We actually want minion presence, board presence, that kind of stuff. Swift Messenger is really good for that. It's actually my favorite werewolf now in this meta. It really helps clear things out. But getting a random elemental, getting our elemental chain going is gonna be what we have to do. And then we need some low guys. Hopefully some low elementals. So let's try to find those. Oh, I promised I'd take the Unstable Evolution next to a Hex, but can I pass up on the Lightning Storm? You know what? With this deck, I can. We need we need this evolution. Oh, there you go. That's easy peasy. So I kind of want another Primal Fin there. Ooh, this is some good offering here. I think we need the Elemental, because if we don't take the Tar Creeper, our first target for both of our Earth Might is the Fire Plume Phoenix, right? So we need like a fire fairy or whatever the one drop is. That's what we need. But since we don't have that, we have to take the Tar Creeper. So it's kind of tough passing up on a Spellbreaker, but that's just how it goes. Glacial Shard is perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think we have any dragons. This guy is like a a very solid 4-drop if you have a dragon. If you have a dragon, so it seems like because of his cool picture and the fact that he can be a 5/4 rush, it seems like he's worth taking, right? But when you take a step back and imagine he's silenced, a 4/4 beast for 4 mana is pretty whack. In this meta, 4 drops are really good value, right? We're looking at the Phoenix, we're looking at the Blood Drinker. So you're getting a lot of 4 drops that are less stats than this, but they make an impact on the game. So when this guy makes an impact on the game, especially with his then stats of being 5/4 instead of a 3/3 or even a 3/4, like some of these other 4 drops are, then he's really worth it. But we don't have a dragon, and since we're not a dragon class, I can't really count on getting one. I'd like to have a Scalebane. I'm not giving up hope, but without the rush, he's just a solid 4/4, which isn't going to help us here. We're going to have to take another late game guy here, help with our elementals. We passed up on the other lightning bolt. Let's get a direct burn. We've been passing up on a lot of direct burn. We definitely want that. Oh, I want to play Witch's Cauldron. I really do. I really, really do. But I can't pass up a Fungalmancer. Sorry, guys. Maybe we'll get another one. So the Death Speaker puts the value in your control. You can do all sorts of great things with this guy. The Mind Control tech is a bigger swing, right? So like my Death Speaker only really helps my 4/4 kill their 4/4 whatever, something like that. The Mind Control tech allows me in a certain scenario to take a 12/12, to take a 20/20, to take their Spike Reed, their Spike Steed riding Tyreme, you know? So this has a bigger swing potential, but this has much more options for us. This puts, if we're in the driver's seat, this is an accelerant. If we're behind, then this is a much bigger turn the tide sort of thing. So that's kind of what we're thinking between those two. We've already got 2 blazing invocations. Not like they're bad, but we don't want to plan on having those save our game when we're given 2 options right here that can have an impact on the game. Both Battlecry. I think we go with the Death Speaker. Yeah, let's go with the Death Speaker. But Mind Control tech really could save our souls a couple times. We've seen it before. Oh, I hate passing up on the Lava Burst, but I think I need the Volcanosaur because our deck just doesn't have anything really going on here. We've got a lot of poo-poo minions here. I mean, we got a Reaver. This is a good target for our Ancestral Spirit. Yeah, we gotta take it. Ooh, the Violent Worm. Now, if I could spend, if Blizzard had those microtransactions, I would spend 10 gold to go back right now and change my pick, and so because I'm getting this guy. So I'd much rather have the other one than this guy, but that's just how it goes sometimes. They bamboozle you. So we're getting a lot of fat here. I think we want the commander, but we've had Sea Giant in an arena before, and even when you draft around it, it's really tough to get it out early. There's no call to arms. If you're that far ahead in an arena, sometimes putting something like this out on the board doesn't really help. Whereas an Argent Commander does. So even if we get this guy for 5 mana, it might not have as big an impact on the game as an Argent Commander next turn does. So we're going to take the charge here. So we've already got 1 Volcano. I think we go with the Earth Elemental here. There we go. Alright. So we've got 2 Hexes and our Frost Elemental for Silence. We've got a couple ways of discovering cards outside of the game. Not as many as I would like. We were seeing a lot more Bone Drakes, I feel like, before the change. I wonder if that's one of the things they dropped the rate of. I imagine that Bone Drakes had a very high win percentage in the actual, card pool database as far as win percentage of arenas. And since it's a very solid basic or neutral card, I could see that. We didn't even get offered one. We didn't see a Stonehill Defender. But we've got some elementals. Let's see here. So we'll probably have to hold on to our Glacial Shard unless we've got an Earth and Might to play right after that. Oh, we've got the Hot Spring Guardian too. Okay, so we've got before turn 4 we've got 3. And then we've got the Phoenix. The Phoenix we don't really want to play just for the chain, right? We normally want that for board pressure, same thing as Tar Creeper. So I'm thinking we hold on to the Glacial Shard if we can. But we've got a good amount of elementals, not so many easy ones for the chain, but late game, getting this guy buffed up and getting a free elemental is going to be nice. Alright guys, here we go. Elemental Shaman in Arena. I'm thinking we get 6 wins out of this bad boy. Let's do it.